watching standpoint. We've been analyzing the court judgment by the Supreme Court on the presidential election. That election was affirmed, the victory of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was affirmed by the appeal court and then again reaffirmed by the Supreme Court. He won at the Supreme Court, and we've been speaking with a former presidential aide, Reno Omokri. Thanks for staying with us. All right, so I wanted to talk to you about the agitations. People have said, look, it's time for the president to focus on governance and also to unite the nation. And I also want to quote your tweet. You said the elections are over. This is the other half of the tweet. You said the elections are over. The court case is over. Your candidate lost. My candidate lost. That does not mean that we must now destroy Nigeria. What it means is that we must now study the whole process to see where we went wrong and correct those errors before 2027. So we can democratically unseat Tinubu. Until then, he's your president and mine. Deal with it. But my focus is where you say that does not mean that we must now destroy Nigeria. A lot of people say, look, the president has a role to play here in uniting the country. Where do you suggest he begins?
Well, what I suggest that the president does, I think he's already doing it, but I think maybe he might want to expand on it. You see, when you have a contentious election, anywhere in the world, not just in Nigeria, you begin to bring in people from the other parties into your government. And then that brings about some equilibrium. The temperature in the country goes down. So you see that in 1999, President Olusegun Obasanjo did that. He brought in people. He had a minister from each and every party that participated in the election, including the action, I think it was called the Alliance for Democracy, of whom he made Bola Ige the Minister of Power. And then he also made, Olu Agunyole the minister after him. So Bola Ige later became the Minister of Justice. And then if you look at the other parties, he also brought in people from the APP. He made them, I think he gave the APP more than one slot. So that's a way to bring in, equilibrium into the country, to balance things in the country, bring in people from other parties, and then form a government of national unity. Nigeria needs unity more than anything, so form a government of national unity. Another thing that he can do is this, that he needs to make sure that from now going forward, his comments and the comments of his appointees should be about projection of positive things that are happening in his government. So they should not respond to, political attacks and political snipes. No, just, for instance, if people say that, okay, well, the economy is not going well, this man is not the right president, and that people do not want him, do not respond to that. Just project positive things in the economy that are happening. Because right now we are in governance mode. We are not in, election mode anymore. Those are going to be my two suggestions to the president.
The Labour Party, in response to the government of national unity, the Labour Party had already said, look, they are not going to work with this administration. Would your party be disposed to working with this administration?
The Labour Party does not even have control over its own members. So the president should not even listen to them. I'll give a very good example. Recently, the Senate, or the National Assembly, both the Senate and the House, they said they were going to buy some SUVs. I'm not very happy that they're going to buy foreign SUVs, but you know what? That's a reality. They said they're going to buy foreign SUVs. Now, the Labour Party asked its legislators, after they were embarrassed, after they were criticized, they asked the legislators to reject the SUVs. As I speak to you, today is Saturday, October 28, 2023. Not one Labour legislator has come out to reject it, and they are not going to. So the Labour Party does not even have control of its own members. So the president should not even listen to them. You have a bunch of silly people. The Labour Party on its own is coupled together for the ambition of Peter Obi. It's not a party that believes in its own ideology. Even Peter Obi himself does not believe in the ideology of the Labour Party. So the president should not look at that. Labour Party is not really an issue. The issue is the People's Democratic Party. Once the People's Democratic Party can be, I don't want to say brought on board, because, but once the People's Democratic Party has now understood that, okay, we've moved from electioneering to governance, it doesn't matter what the Labour Party is going to do. I can assure you of one thing. The current Labour Party, as presently constituted, is not going to last until 2027.
Will it be fair to say that, look, you already have a member, PDP already has a member in the presidency or in the president's cabinet and in the person of the FCT minister, Wike?
Well, I think, was it in Jos when the president was talking and he made a kind of Freudian slip and then he said PDAPC. You see, so, some people are PDAPC. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about PDP, APC, Labour. So not PDAPC people. That's all I would say about that.